Welcome, dear friends. Welcome to our spiritual home, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tarpon Springs. We are glad to have you with us today. My name is Judy Lucarelli, and I will be your service associate today. I use she, her pronouns to describe myself, and I'm a white woman. Next month, I will be 74. I've been giving you the preview of this and it's next month. For those of you who cannot see clearly, I have graying brown hair that is long enough to braid. Since the age of 12, I've been 5 foot 10 inches tall. I have hazel eyes, wear wire-rimmed glasses and dangling earrings, and today I'm all in red. While I hail from the Passamaquoddy lands of the Wabanaki, we want to acknowledge that here in this church, we are on the lands of the Tocobaga and Seminole peoples. We are a church of many welcomes, and we offer a warm welcome to all of you. This is a liberal community for all ages, promoting spiritual growth, social justice, and the arts. As such, ours is an active church, and everyone is invited to participate in any of our activities. To learn more about our events, our church calendar is on our website, uutarpon.org, or we'd be happy to talk with you during coffee hour. For those present with us in the building, we have connection cards available in the pews near the hymnals. If you fill one out, front and back, we'll be able to, and put it in the collection plate or give it to one of the greeters, we'll be able to connect with you. If you're watching us on Zoom or YouTube, you can send us an email at membership@uutarpon.org to get connected. There are also small cards in the pews to write any joys or sorrows that you would like to share with us. If you'd like me to read your item instead of coming forward yourself to share it at the end of the service. Our service today is led by Samara Powers. We, the Roots of Covenant. Samara Powers, she, they, her, is a non-binary, tran and queer positive relationship anarchist and neurospicy single parent living in Gainesville. Is that? Yeah. Things you have to learn when you move to Florida. They are currently a third-year seminarian at Meadville Lombard Theological School, where they also serve as co-president of the Student Advisory Council. Samara is currently serving the UU Church of Valdosta, Georgia, as Intern Minister, and will graduate with a Master's in Divinity in May 2025. Our music is provided by Bonnie Whitehurst and our special, sometimes unruly choir. Again, welcome.
Our gathering hymn is right up here, 1064 in the teal book, Blue Boat Home. And you may sit or you may stand, whatever is your preference.
Far away from the rolling ocean. Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Samara, and I am a tall, middle-aged, fluffy Amazonian, white, non-binary woman with sort of short, scrabbly brown hair, which I still swear is blonde, but my mom disagrees. I'm wearing my Protect Trans Youth UU t-shirt and my Mr. Rogers Good Luck socks. I offer these opening words by Arlen Groff called Thresholds. Thresholds. We cross them every day, from room to room, from outside to inside, and back again, from here to there, from anywhere to everywhere, from age to age. Each threshold offers an opportunity for change, for transformation, for renewal. From what we were and what we are to what we can be. In this hour and in this place, we cross a threshold from our day-to-day everydayness into space and time attuned to other, attuned to the sacred and to the holy, into an awareness of new life pregnant with possibilities. How will we be renewed in this moment? How will we be changed by this hour? How will we be transformed through this gathering of beloved community? Come, you longing, thirsty souls. Come, let us worship together.
We light our chalice with these words from Emily Richards. We gather this morning in a sacred space, kindling a fire that burns here in our chalice and in our hearts. We gather to engage in a different kind of worship, one that doesn't include sermons or hymns, but is holy nonetheless. We gather to honor our covenant and engage in congregational life, doing the necessary work to ensure that this community thrives. We gather together as a people of faith, guided by love, a love that burns as bright as the flame in our chalice. We light this chalice, as we have done so many times before, for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action. There's some things that technology is not better for. And please join me as we read our covenant. Words are on the screen. We strive to look for and encourage the best in each other. As we move toward justice, peace, and love for both ourselves and the world. And when we fall short, we will seek understanding, reconciliation, and a return to covenant.
Our next piece of music is number 123 in the Gray Book, Spirit of Life, 123.
All
Yes, that would be helpful. Thank you, Kathy. Let me just repeat that just in case anybody who would like to come and sit on the steps would like to see the book. You're welcome. No pressure. You can also look at it afterwards. Hi, will you come sit? You can sit in that chair if you want. Okay. The book is called Misha Makes Friends by Tom Percival. Can you see it if I hold it like this? Okay. There's lots of pages at the beginning. Misha loved making things. She could make pictures out of numbers and pictures out of sounds. Sometimes she made pictures out of both. But there was one thing that Misha found hard to make: friends. What's going to happen? Everybody else seemed to find it easy, but not Misha. 97 is the bluest number, she says. When she tried, she didn't know what to do, what to say, or when to say it. Tag, you're it. But she's talking to a person who is really sad right now. For Misha, making friends was so difficult that she wondered if she would ever be able to do it. Then, one evening, Misha had an idea. She got out her paints, her pencils, and all her other tools. Then, she started to cut and stick and glue and sew. Soon, she had made a whole group of really fun friends. Friends that were easy to be around. Friends that she could take with her wherever she went. Doo-dee-doo-dee-doo. Look at that, toting around in her bag. Admittedly, Misha's new friends weren't very good at tennis, or soccer, or catch. But Misha felt comfortable with them, and that was what mattered. One day, Misha's mom said they were going to a party. She said there would be lots of nice people there. She said it would be fun. Misha wasn't so sure. The party was noisy and chaotic and unpredictable. Everyone else was playing together, and Misha just couldn't find a way to join in. Yikes. She ran off to find a quiet corner where she could make her own friends. Misha sat happily for a while until she realized that something didn't feel right. A boy was watching her. He said, "Hi, I'm Josh. Can I see what you're making?" For a while, Misha said nothing. But then she took a deep breath and showed him her friends. "Wow," gasped Josh, "they're amazing. Can you show me how to make one?" Misha was worried. What if he got it all wrong? What if he ruined everything? But Josh didn't look like he would try to ruin things, and so Misha showed him what to do. And do you know what? Josh didn't get it all wrong, and he didn't ruin anything either. In fact, now that she was making things with someone, it was even better. Soon, Misha and Josh had built a whole town for their friends to live in together. "Let's go and show the others," said Josh. Misha wasn't sure. but Josh's smile made her feel that it would all be okay. And it was. For the first time ever, Misha knew exactly what to say and what to do. And that was how the friends that Misha made helped Misha make friends. The end. I'm going to put this right here, just in case. Oh yes, let's sing our children.
Go now in peace, go now in peace, may the sun of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace, may thou in peace, go now in peace, may the light of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
This is the time in our church when we encourage all who gather here to grow more generous in spirit and in action. We now take an offering that allows us to exercise that all-important generosity of spirit, an offering that will support this self-supporting church and its many ministries. The gifts of the congregation will now be most gratefully received.
Faith is a forest in which doubts play and hide. Insight can hear the still small voice deep inside. Bread of life, faith is bread I read. Strength and commitment to all I
Apparently I'm muted again. Sometimes you just have to try and keep going and know it's going to be okay. Thank you for keeping me honest. It's been a little while since I was here with you last, and I learned that you have incorporated a meditation into your service, and I wanted to bring a quote of deep significance to me and to many of my colleagues, and perhaps to you as well. It's a quote by Octavia Butler from her book, Parable of the Sower. And I invite you to reflect in this time of meditation on these words. All that you touch, you change. All that you change, changes you. The only lasting truth is change. God is change. Thank you. Our reading today comes from Kendall R. Gibbons, Communities of Memory and Promise. Our communities of memory and promise are founded upon covenants because we all need a defense against the impulse of immediate feelings that challenge our best intentions. It is necessary to be reminded from time to time of what you said you were going to do and what you really want, over and above the lure of momentary comfort. Covenant is our word for the solemn promises that counteract the randomness of a future in which anything and everything is possible. But by committing it commits us in advance to a certain relationship and set of values with each other. We do this because what we build with intention and even with difficulty is more satisfying in the long run than the pleasure that we happen to encounter. We do it in time-consuming rituals, invoking powers that we scarcely know how to name, because we are seeking some way to give our lives the density and the dignity and the depth that we suspect with longing might yet be possible.
Let this be a house of peace.
was lovely music. Imagine this. The year is 1637. The place is a coastal region in the northeast of this land. You and your family have just arrived from Europe to build a new life in a place where you have been told there is promise, that there is hope. You've uprooted from everything familiar at significant risk to yourself and your family to come to an unknown, to you, land, because of, well, whatever your reasons were. Keep in mind, I'm talking about people who chose to come here. Religious freedom was a common reason. Destitution and desperation were probably others. Maybe some even felt the call of adventure and the promise of fresh starts. Life was fraught, uncertain, lonely, and often centered on the activities necessary for survival: agriculture, fishing, gathering stores for the winter, navigating accident and illness, and the unknown risks of colonizing an already settled land. But today is not about empire. It's about covenant. Specifically, at least this beginning part is about covenant, the Cambridge Platform. This is a set of ideas that is foundational to UU identities and practices, and it arose out of that time in 1637. The UU website talks about the origins of the Cambridge Platform like this. On their website it says, in 1637, the settlers in what was to become the town of Dedham, Massachusetts, wanted to start a church. The problem was, the roughly 30 families didn't know each other, and therefore didn't know what sort of church to begin. Now, the notable but implicit idea in this statement is that even though the families didn't know each other, they had already drawn an imaginary circle around their collective and dubbed it we. As in, we understand that we are in this together. Setting aside for the moment the profoundly harmful container of settler colonialism, but I promise we'll get back to it. We've got roughly 30 families who decide they are a we and promptly set about the business of solving the problem of their unfamiliarity with each other. They held many cottage meetings over several years. And they did this in order to hash out the details in conversation of what they wanted from their religious lives and from each other. The results of those conversations were codified as the Cambridge Platform. It describes a system of church governance centered on congregations deciding for themselves how to meet their own religious and communal needs. It was revolutionary at the time. And this is congregational polity in a nutshell, and it informs all Congregationalist church structures today, including Unitarian Universalism. This hashing out process that they went through, this seeking engaged consensus and working relationship with each other, that is what covenant is all about. Or at least it's supposed to be. Those colonists created something new out of their need and their willingness to work together. Something world-shaping and beautiful arose out of their curiosity, their commitment, and their hard-earned trust. Let me put the importance of covenant another way. I've been growing microgreens lately. Now, if you're not familiar, microgreens are the tiny new growth of various vegetables, but they're different than sprouts which you might know as the weird hair-like vegetable that you either love or love to hate, often topping salads or sandwiches. No, microgreens, by contrast, are a bit larger, a bit leafier, a bit more developed, and therefore actually more nutrient dense. All the tutorials I watched online say that these tiny, fragile greens need a growth medium to thrive. So while the smaller, less developed sprouts are fine just tumbling around damp in a jar, for microgreens, you need something for the roots to latch onto. Soil, or a fiber mat, or even a wet paper towel, or the greens will not mature. A solid covenant is like that growth medium. It's the soil that lets us put our relational roots down and gives us something to anchor onto when we're growing. It's the container defining a particular we. Without that framework, that structure, that we is unlikely to make it past the sprout stage. Another thing that microgreens need is a period when the seeds, once scattered on the growth medium and watered, should be covered completely with a light blocking layer, and then, get this, weighed down with a stone. The pressure and limitation of resources, however, forces the seeds to grow in the appropriate direction, which is to say down into the growth medium, where they can anchor more strongly and eventually, when given air and more water and sunlight, can grow into a more robust green. It seems counterintuitive, doesn't it? Like, we have this seemingly fragile little seed, and then the first thing we do upon planting it is to squish them down with a weight. But that pressure is transformative. The early Puritans had the pressure of their isolation from all they had previously known, the pressure of the uncertainty of their lives and their livelihoods. And it caused them to dig deep roots with each other, the branches of which growth are still shaping us today. Covenant is literally the cultivation of interpersonal understanding for the purposes of communal thriving and liberation. That is the root, the sap, and the leaf of who we UUs are as one of the liberal Congregationalist faiths today. Think of it this way. Interpersonal work is the basic building block of all covenantal relationships. It's about as intentional as you can get with the idea that we are in this together. How different U.S. history would be if the understanding of covenant in that respect had informed early European explorers. If enough of them had been driven by holy curiosity instead of acquisitiveness and dominion. The Buddha said, "True love is born from understanding." And understanding is not something that is given to us on a silver platter. What is given to us is the capacity to understand. Neither is the beloved community, capital B, capital C, the beloved community, something that will be given to us. It's not going to show up because we said the right words on cue, or we showed up to enough Sundays, or blah, 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 right? But what has been given to us is the capacity to love and to be loved, to literally become beloved. How do we access that capacity? How do we use it, fertilize it, help it thrive? Have you ever encountered a sidewalk buckled by impinging tree roots? This is what is meant by the faith of a mustard seed and the power to move mountains described in the Gospel of Matthew. It's not that the mountain will pick up and relocate because you asked nicely. It's because the deep roots grown by an engaged and intentional community are powerful enough collectively to displace even the most seemingly intractable systemic obstacles. That is why covenant is a powerful force for liberation. That is how we build a beloved we that is worthy of our effort, of our trust, of our raw and vulnerable trying. We access it by accessing it. I wish it were simpler than that, but it's not. You just do it. You do it and you try. You keep each other honest when the mic stays muted. I think that many UUs today, most of whom are situated in dominant culture, me included, only engage in a sense of we that has been delivered on a silver platter. It's the words that have been given to us to recite, or because we place on our website because that's what we're supposed to do, that's what the UUA does, and that's what the other churches do. But we don't dig into the meat and the potatoes of what the words mean. It's a notion of gathering that is ethereal and beautiful and meaningful sometimes, and we even apprehend moments of insight and delight about it. But it's a sprout without a growth medium, without urgency, without pressure. It's a we that says the words but doesn't apply them too hard. It's a we that may wonder how to fit more butts in the seats on a Sunday, but then misses the truly radical part about radical welcome. The thing that makes covenant such a potential force for liberation is that covenant is the medium by which we understand and demonstrate that we understand that change is required when even a single new person enters the room. Just like those early colonists who worked hard, they worked so hard to build something together. The unfamiliarity of us with each other requires an essential hashing out of who we are and what this new we can take, and what the new we will be willing to co-create. I wish that instead of saying draw the circle wide or gather the spirit, that we used words like knit or cross-stitch the circle wide, or chisel the spirit. If you have ever engaged in any kind of activity as a maker, whether it is a sweater or a basket, a house, a painting, a cabinet, or even a complicated spreadsheet, you understand that the truly difficult and worthwhile projects require our blood and our sweat and our tears to fulfill. And I'm not talking metaphorically. These are literal ingredients. Our blood, our sweat, and our tears are literal ingredients in an epically complicated recipe that we must try to make many times to get it right, knowing we will often fail, perhaps weep with frustration, leaning heavily on a faith that must have enough muscle for the sweaty, gritty, heavy lift of trying again. Taking turns when we need it, taking breaths, and trying again. That is why the beloved we of our individual understanding might benefit from a more deeply and embodied and dangerous notion of covenant. A transformed understanding of covenant that transforms us in the understanding. not just as something we UUs do. Covenant is something we UUs are. And if UUs are trying to do our part in concert with a gorgeous global multitude of other faiths seeking to get back to whatever their version of the garden is, doesn't it make sense to seek the fertile soil of relationality that we can sink our roots into? One way to do that right now, if you want to try, is ask, and you can ask in your head, who is missing from this room? Who is missing from this room, and what is the limitation in our growth medium that created their absence? Or you can ask, what kind of covenant do I need, and would I like to co-create that will help me feel fulfilled in this community, that will help me feel brave and safer and together and full of a sense of belonging? And here's the really important part. When you ask yourselves these questions, don't just keep them in your head forever. Ask each other. Seek the answers together. I hope in my role as an emerging faith leader that I will be able to cultivate in those that I serve an understanding of togetherness that is rich and robust and lively, that is sinewy and flexible enough to drive through the deepest difficulties and to thrive by the messy art of daily discovery and co-creation. Most of all, I hope I can help each of us remember that the hashing it out together, the keeping each other honest, is wholly soulful work. Go in peace. Go in love. And may all our circles be budged, carved, inched, or tilled a little wider every day. It looks like our chorus is coming back for our closing hymn.
And our closing hymn is We Would Be One, number 318 in the Gray Book, and the tune is Finlandia.
I know I asked us to set aside the problem of settler colonialism, but the truth is we can never really do that. We should never really do that. Our covenant calls us to do more than that. But I hope I have also shown today that we have the tools. We have the tools and the capacity and the collective passion for liberation that will allow us to do that more deeply in our lives every day. And the thing is, settler colonialism is a system of oppression like any other, and none of those dense concrete structures are immune to the subterranean relentlessness of a well-placed root. This week, I implore you to seek out your growth medium. Whatever you learn in conversation with yourself and each other, I hope you share it, and in this shared space, may you bloom. Blessed becoming beloveds.
We hope you have found meaning in today's service. We extinguish the chalice with these words from Martha Munson. We extinguish the chalice here that it might glow gently in our hearts. May it light your path as you leave this place. May it guide your way until we are together again.